Abrento sapro costa ranka sarabaka sata. Bento remekusha braha mahana ene. Gen tokorokusha braha mahara antelekesta sa. Han tokorabakasa. Apostle and darling, the network is going to take off. You're going to do fine with the network. Okay. The network is going to work for this reason because God said that he gave you a heart for the little man. These are people that don't have anything. They're kind of castaways. Some of them have been ostracized from other works through misunderstandings. These are people who are prophetic. These are people who really have that overtone, but they've not had any real true government in their lives. They haven't had good pastoring over their heads. These are people who really do have a genuine call of God to start a work, to do a work, to officiate over a work, et cetera, et cetera. But no one would give them an opportunity. But God is going to show you the diamonds in the rough. And when you polish them down and you put them through the refining fires of God, and God permits them to walk through the fires of adversity, they're going to come forth and shine as pure gold. I hear God saying also that he's getting ready to weed out. He's going to clip away some loose ends, which means that some of these people are going. Okay? And not to be at all moved by the fact that some of them are going, because some of them have to move. There's going to be one who's going to be very close to your heart, close to your bosom. But God says he himself is removing it. So when that event happens, you'll know that you're right on target, right on time with God. Nonetheless, can't help but affect you because of who this person will be. But God says he himself is doing this because there's a necessity to prune a hedge before it can grow up and become a great vine. God is going to cause it to be a fruitful vine in this nation and several others. So just look for the success, but look for the war, because nothing that is worth having in God comes easily. This enemy does not like to give up territory and land. Because of that, he certainly doesn't want you to conquer in the land. Be very, very careful and prayerful as to which work you establish next and next and next. Because if God doesn't go before you, you don't want to go. If he isn't behind you, you don't want to stay. So you have to be very careful and prayerful as to the directions and the directives to do each step, one step at a time. And then they'll hit and they'll be successful. I hear the word of the Lord coming to me saying that you're going to receive an increase where money is going to flow like it did 10 years ago. I don't even understand what that means, but it makes sense to you. Okay, money is going to flow like it did 10 years ago. Because in each one of the houses that's attached to this house as well as this house, there's been a decrease because the people are afraid to give. They're afraid to give because they've been ripped off by the false. But God says continuously make declarations that the true is amongst them. And they'll start opening up their bowels of mercy. Because there are some people in your church, quiet as is kept, that have been very, very blessed. They're affluent. They're not liking anything. All right? There needs to be more of the affluent because it's going to take multiplied millions of dollars to advance the kingdom. So while that's a good word, that's a word of warning, and that's a word of encouragement to build it in the right way, because God is certainly going to crown the efforts with success because it belongs to him. The best news that I can give you, Pastor Lathan, is that you're going to get help. Okay, you have needed help, and this time your help is not coming. It's not coming from heaven. Your help is coming from the sanctuary, baby. God is getting ready to raise up more warriors to stand and fight in war with you. You already have a really strong apostolic guard, of prayer people. They can intercede. They can get the word of the Lord literally at the drop of a hat. They are willing to pray, but you have some of them that are getting weary because, just on a few, the whole load is being dumped on a few. And God says he's going to add on to them. He said, commission the whole body that they need to meet the Lord's demand in prayer. Even if you have to set aside one service in this next month coming up, not in the month of August, but in the month of September, where you do nothing from the beginning of that service to the end but pray, because the people have lost the art of intercession. They can't labor with God for more than 10, 15 minutes at a time. They get bored, they're watching their watches and everything else. And in the meantime, the kingdoms of darkness are stealing a march. There is money And there is money in the soil here for you. And so God says, contend for it and make it reproduce after its own kind. Because you are a giver, you are a sower, and it's reproducing for you in the natural, in your personal life. But it's not reproducing for all of your members because some of them slipped into lazy habits, and they're letting those of you who are that apostolic guard do all of the work. So God said, place a demand on the flock. Make them bow the knee to Christ, or else vacate their place. Because their place should be occupied by somebody who will do the perfect will of the Father. Come here, Bam.